Do any of you know that feeling that you have a fight with somebody and all of a sudden he says, everything about you is terrible. Yes, I was friends with you for 5 years, 10 years, but from the beginning I hated you. From the beginning it didn't work out all along the way. And all of a sudden he has a list of things that you thought you got along with, you thought was good. But all of a sudden, the relationship doesn't work on any level. You also have this with husbands and wives that fight and get to divorce. Then she'll say, I never loved him. We never got along. This is familiar. Well, not that part, but the first part, right? The friends part. That all of a sudden, all of us, what's going on here?
He's finding the negative.
How come? And sometimes you'll notice it with yourself. What happens when you notice it with yourself? Somebody scammed you or tricked you somehow, and then you're like, wow, all along he was a scammer. All through the years, you could have had a good relationship. What is going on? What's going on is that you're fixing the narrative in your head. You're fixing it to make sense. People that believe in conspiracy theories, anything in the news makes sense to them. They take it to their narrative. Are you familiar with this? What?
Not anything. What they want to believe.
What they want to believe makes sense. They read it into everything.
Oh.
If you want to believe crazy things, then things you're going to see connect. How does this connect to the parsha? Korach, huh? Parashat Korach. There was a rabbi that when he came to speak about Parashat Korach, he would take off his glasses. He was like, where are my glasses? Oh, my glasses are here. You know what that reminds me of? Parashat Korach. And he does that so that you don't think that we're talking about anybody. Because Korach is machloket. It's arguments. It's fighting with each other.
Very smart.
And we don't want anybody associating, oh, he's talking about that fight. He's talking about that fight. Machloket is a big issue. I'm just remembering a story. I think they say the story about the Chasam Sofer. The Chasam Sofer was careful not to put the two Sfarim together. He had the Noda B'Yehuda. That wasn't it. It's Rabbeinu Eibeshitz's book, and he had the Yavitz's book. And he wouldn't put them together on the same shelf. Why? Because they were in machloket a lot. He didn't want to put them together in this world. And then when he went to sleep, they came to him in a dream. And in a dream, this person said to him that, don't worry, the Yavitz and Rabbeinu Eibeshitz are together. They're together in Olam HaEmes. They're friends. They're together. And so the Chasam Sofer said, what about the Talmidim? What about the students? Meir? They asked, what about the students? What do you think? He said, the students are all in Gehenna. They're all in hell. All the students that were involved in the machlokas, because you had Rabbeinu Eibeshitz, you had the Yavitz, and they had a big machlokas against each other. But their machlokas was the Shem Shamayim. The Mishnah speaks about machlokas l'shem shamayim. Machlokas l'shem shamayim is Hillel and Shammai. Hillel and Shammai fought in Torah, but their kids married each other. That's a machlokas l'shem shamayim.
How much of Benin or l'shem shamayim?
Korach and Moshe is not l'shem shamayim. Korach was fighting Shalom l'shem shamayim. What's with the riots?
No, at the beginning it really felt like it was Shem Shamayim.
It felt, so that's the thing. That's the thing. What's Korach doing over here? Why is he coming forward? Why is he arguing with Moshe? Why is he arguing? Why does he care? Because he was supposed to get a position in the Mishkan. He was supposed to get a position and they skipped him. And Aaron gets it and his family gets it. And He's skipped and he's feeling left out over here. Why don't I get anything? He's the regular Levi. He doesn't get Kahuna. He doesn't get. Moshe is the Manig of Am Yisrael. He's the leader. Aaron is the Kohen. God, where's he? Why doesn't he get anything? And so he felt he needs to rally the people against Moshe. And he's rallying people to fight against Moshe. And now everything can match his narrative. And all of a sudden he's saying, oh, you have to put a mezuzah on the door? What happens if the house is full of books? Do you have to put a mezuzah on the door? What do you say? Yes. But why? The house is full of books. These are kind of rationalizations. They kind of, he's asking these questions in order to distort things so that he can go and do the things he wants to do. Change what the Torah wants.
Any kid could flip down in this.
You know, he actually said something that is true in a certain variation. You know, a shul doesn't have to have a mezuzah. If you go to Tzfas and you go to the Ari HaAshkenazi, the Ari Ashkenazi shul. You remember Ari Ashkenazi shul? The one on top. And you go inside, you're not going to see a mezuzah. Why is it a mezuzah? Because the shul doesn't need a mezuzah. It's not a home. But then you can't do home stuff in it either. You can't sleep there. You can't eat there. I remember I came in there once and I had like a bottle of Coke in my hand. And the guy there said to me, he said, you know, there's no mezuzah here. You can't drink. Because if you drink here, you're making it into like a home. And then we're going to have to put a mezuzah on.
Put a mezuzah.
No, they haven't had a mezuzah for many, many years. No, they want to keep their tradition. You're right. They can make their life easy and just put a mezuzah. They don't want to do that.
So then you can't eat.
They want to keep their tradition that's been around for many years. Okay? Korach says the story. Now listen to the story. He speaks about this poor almana. The almana, a widow, has one field and she wants to support her kids. All she has is a donkey and an ox. And so she starts plowing the field with the donkey and the ox. Anybody see an issue with this?
Fine.
You can't plow with a donkey and an ox. You know that?
Yeah.
Kilayim. So Moshe comes and tells her you can't do it. It's kilayim. She's like, oh my gosh, fine. I'm going to plant. I have some seeds of wheat and barley and some other stuff, maybe corn. Maybe corn, Mare? Did she have corn? Corn comes from America. We've only had corn for the past 500 years. But she mixes a few things and she starts planting them so that her kids will have food. And then Moshe comes and he tells her, hey, that's a problem. It's Kilei's rhyme. You can't plant different seeds together. So she plants regular. She comes to plow the field. She comes to reap the field to cut it down at the end. And she takes the wheat. She gets to the corner of the field and Moshe says to her, hey, you have to give payah. This poor woman, all she wanted was to feed her kids, and she has to deal with an ox and her ox and donkey are not good. The seeds that she wanted to plant are no good. She wants to cut down the whole field, she can't. Then she wants to eat. Moshe Rabbeinu comes and says, Trumas and Maasros. This story is brought in the Midrash, and this is showing you how Korach is taking things from the Torah, and this is emotional manipulation. This is how you can take anything and emotionally manipulate somebody else. Your manipulation is you're bending the facts. You're being dishonest. That's you. This is malicious manipulation. You know, in manipulation, you have some people that manipulate, but they don't really think about it. They naturally manipulate. They're the victims. Something's wrong with them. Everybody's against them. The whole world is against them. And so they distort facts, not on purpose. But Korach is doing this on purpose. He's coming and taking the story to cause people to follow him so he can fight against Moshe. And when we have these fights with friends of ours, or a husband and wife that don't get together, that don't get along after many years, and all of a sudden she says, I never loved him, or things like that, she's building her narrative now, and that makes sense to her. Korach is now building his narrative, and he's taking things that, facts can be objective. You can look at things in an objective viewpoint.
How did you never love him if you?
There's a lot of questions if she asked herself about her younger self, what type of person she was when she was at a younger self. She would.
You don't love when you get married.
Yes, I'm thinking about the general point of after so many years, something flips. And Korach, by the way, was friends with Moshe. They were together, they're family, they're cousins. But once Korach flipped, now everything, the whole Torah is bad. Everything Moshe's brought down is bad. And Korach goes for, and he's such a genius. You're not talking about a regular person. You're talking about a genius that can take things and flip them. He can convince you that this is green. You know why it's green? If you put it in the light in a certain way, it's green. And if Moshe told you that it's red, well, then Moshe's wrong. That's more or less what he's doing over here. And Korach is pulling. He's pulling
How many people went after him?
250 people followed him. Rashi Sanhedrin, very important people.
There were millions.
But these are the top of the top. These are the most important people that are following him. And
How did the people that don't follow them didn't go far? Didn't come in? No support.
what?
The people that follow these people,
Yeah.
they realize something's wrong and they didn't follow them in the end.
How come everybody didn't follow Korach? Is that the question?
No. Whoever followed Korach, let's say they were Rabbanim, right?
Yeah.
They had a Keilah.
So
the
you had
Rav went and the Keilah.
right. You had these very important people, Rashi Sanhedrin, 250 very important people. So all their followers should follow them also. That's a good question.
So it's amazing that they didn't.
It could be they did. We know about these 250. What happens at the end is Moshe Rabbeinu stands up and he says, God is going to decide what's true and what's not. And then fire comes out from the Mishkan and burns these 250 people, burns them alive.
They were just manipulated.
They're poor people. They were just manipulated by Korach. Why are we punishing them? So they did have followers that followed them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the poor people. But the important people, the Rosh Hashanah, the smart people, they get punished for what they're doing. They need to know better. If you know better, and you decide to dumb yourself down and just to follow the crowd, you'll get punished.
They know you need to listen to Moshe.
If you have the ability, these are the people that have the ability to argue with Korach, and they're not, they're following him, they get punished, they get burnt. Their followers didn't get burnt. Their followers then join Moshe afterwards. And what happens to Korach himself and his family? The ground opens up and they get swallowed into the ground. And they are there till today. Swallowed on the ground. Why are there two different punishments?
Sounds like it's better.
It's better to get swallowed?
Yes.
That's a good question. It says, Ir Hanidachas, a city that all followed the Buddha. Let's say you have a city in the land of Israel that all followed pagan gods, all did idolatry. What you do is you burn the city, but the people, the Meses and Mediach, the people at the head that convince the city to follow idolatry, to bow down to statues, them, you need to stone them. They don't get burnt. Stoning is the worst. We hold there are 4 types of death by Sanhedrin, by Beis Din. Stoning is the worst, then it's burning. There's a machloket in the Gemara. There's another opinion that Twitch swaps them. So how is he going to understand this? I'm not exactly sure. Why does he say that, the leader of the Meses and Mediach himself, how come he get stoned, it's obviously that the guy at the top is going to get the worst punishment. So how does he? I think it's Reb Shimon. How's Reb Shimon going to explain that? That's a good question. But we do hold that skila is the worst, and so Korach gets skila. Korach gets stoning, pulling into the ground. That's like stoning. Things that have to do with earth. The 4 ways that the Beis Din kills corresponds to the 4 elements. Who knows what the 4 elements are? Oh, very good. All in one go. Fire, water, air, earth. So earth is skila, is stonings of stones, and that's how Korach was punished. Fire is how the Roshei Sanhedrin were punished. There's another 2 ways that Beis Din kills. One is stabbing, and one is strangulation. And strangulation would be air, and stabbing would be water. I think, is that how it works out? Either that or the opposite. These it's a little. Yeah, so that makes right. So strangulation would be water. That would make a lot of sense, because
So what's air?
air is stabbing.
It's the swipe of the sword. Moves the air.
It doesn't correspond
It's metal.
perfectly in this way. They explain how it corresponds. But in any event, we can see how this plays out for them, how they get punished at the end. And then the question is, maybe Aaron shouldn't be the Kohen Gadol. Maybe they should get somebody else to be the Kohen. So then Moshe says, now there's speculation which might be healthy. Okay? If Korach is coming with a lot of power against Moshe, and he's using these manipulations, these emotional manipulations, then he needs to be buried in the ground. But now that we have people that are questioning it, then really, why is Aaron the Kohen Gadol? Then Moshe says, let's revisit this. If you want to have a conversation, you want to talk, let's revisit it. And I want all of you guys to give me your staffs, the matot, and Aaron's also going to put his mateh in, his staff, and we're going to put it in the Kodesh Kodashim overnight. And they put it in the Holy of Holies overnight. And what happened the next morning? Aaron's mateh, Aaron's staff, all of a sudden had beautiful, right? It was a shkidia, it was an almond tree. It was an almond tree. He had been walking around with it for a while. And now, all of a sudden, it puts out leaves and branches. And not only that, but it puts out actual almonds.
Talking about names it, and I was like, what about naming an inanimate object?
Yeah,
Why don't you name my wallet?
yeah.
And it was like, how about I name it after an inanimate object? So I named it Shaked after.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. So this is an important, because money grows on trees, right? So Aaron's mateh, that now what does he do with it? What do we do with this mateh now with this? Now we can see this branch that's blooming and it's beautiful, and we're in the desert. Okay? There are no almonds around. Where are the almonds? You have to go back into Egypt or come to Israel to find almonds. Yes, and we're outside, up on top of the hill here, we have a few almond trees. But there are no almonds in the desert. So it's like a double miracle to have the almonds over there. So what do? They put it together with the Aron Habris. It sits there in the Holy of Holies from then and on, all the way towards the end of the Beis Hamikdash, of the temple. There's a bunch of things that were in Kodesh HaKodashim, in the Holy of Holies. We had what? Was it actually inside the Aron Habrit? I'm not always sure. It was in. They put it in the desert, but then when it came into the actual Beis Hamikdash, they put it next to it. I think that's how it works out. So you have the staff of Aaron. You have the staff, the man, the manna, the the broken, right? That stayed inside. The luchos, because the Aron is made for the luchos. The Ark of the Covenant is made for the tablets, is made for the luchos. And you had the broken first tablets that were also put inside. You're right. And today we're left with this one parsha that has to do so much with machloket, so much with fighting. And when there's fighting, there are always the narratives that are coming into play. Who's right? The rioters today, are they right? Are they wrong? It's something you need to discuss. It's something you need to think about. You can't just say they're right. You can't just say they're wrong.
I like to say, like, it's not the person, it's what they're doing. Like, he's not
right for rioting.
No, but it's all about the person.
He's not like dumb or
The
whatever.
rabbi said
He's
to
doing
riot.
something.
Their rabbi said to riot. They're following their rabbis. Their rabbi said, "Go out and riot."
So he's doing, it says, עושה לך רע, וגם אם הוא יאמר לך על ימין ושמאל, או שמאל ימין.
אז הרב עושה לשם שמיים, הם לא עושים הם עושים לשם שמיים, שהם הולכים לרב.
לא, אמר לך על ימין שהוא שמאל.
Depends what they're doing.
ימין.
I saw.
It
depends.
Is for sure you have some of those?
Yes, you do have people that just, they don't really care. They just want to go and do, and then people take advantage of this and they do things they shouldn't be doing. But don't address it from an emotional place, like Korach did. That Korach was emotionally upset that he didn't get any important job here, and so he goes forward and he does what he does. You want to address it from a relaxed place, from a place where you can think straight and work out.
Go out, sit in the street.
What if you think about it in a straight manner?
Yeah.
If the guy says, my rabbi says I need to go because I listen to my rabbi. And I'm going to go there. I'm not going to hit random women like I saw videos that were circulating. I'm not going to break street lights or anything like that. I'm going to go. And I'm also not going to stand too close to the cars because people get run over. I don't know how can you run and be so close to... I'm going to do what my rabbi told me to do, and that's it. And I'm going there, I'm doing it, and I'm coming home. I'm not doing extra. I'm not calling people different names.
Matthew, get into the mood.
You get into the mood. No, he's singing there. They're singing good songs. They're singing kosher songs. No, they're singing. Moshe Emes, let's say Emes. Just like Korach and his sons are saying deep underground. If they're singing those songs and he's there, he's going there, you can see that he did it. If he's doing it for the right reasons. He's not a Baal Machlokas. But if he's going there because he wants to make, just do balagan. Korach is not L'Shem Shamayim. Hillel and Shammai are L'Shem Shamayim.
זה כל העניין, that's the whole shir.
אז יכול להיות שיהיה בדיוק כל חייל שתי followers, one עשה את זה שם שמיים, אחד סתם עשה את זה. לא שם שמיים, שירה כבוד. One of them didn't burn, one of them did burn.
Right, you can have two people go to the riot. One guy wants to go there because he wants to ruin cars, hit them with sticks, and do things that are not allowed, and he thinks now I can do whatever I want. And the other guy does it because his rabbi told him, and he's only doing what his rabbi said to do. And once the rabbi says come back, because the rabbi then told him you have to leave, so they left. That's okay. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be emotionally involved to a point where you just behave from those emotions. You want to be in a place where you can think about things rationally. And I pray for all of us that we manage to think about things rationally and that we do things in the right way.